Hello and welcome to the Business Today show. I'm your host Udayan Mukherjee. Over the last few episodes, we've showcased some truly world-class entrepreneurs on this series. But this week, with the Sensex hitting 60,000 for the first time, we thought we'd change the game a little bit and get an investor for you. But an investor who's always thought like an entrepreneur. In fact, so much so that apparently these days he's plotting his own airline, and very soon an insurance company backed by him will make its debut in the stock market. Well, then, I've given the game away, haven't I? It is none other than the inimitable Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, who I have the great pleasure of welcoming on this show now. Rakesh, it's great to see you again. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. It's a good, happy day. We've seen a new high in the market.
And 60,000, done and dusted. What do you think? There are many greater summits ahead for us in the months to come before this bull market tires out?
Well, my personal opinion is 60,000 is just a figure. You can keep counting. दिल है कि मानता नहीं, बाजार है कि रुकता नहीं. So I think, we are just at the threshold of what I think is going to be one of the largest bull runs in India ever. But I think India is changing and very few people are recognizing the change. And I think it's being led by the perceived and the market is reading the future much better than I think we are. And despite the skepticism, I feel that we are in the, of course there can be a correction anytime. We moved from 7,500 to nearly 18,000. So corrections may come and go, but I think it's an irrevocable turn both in India's economic development and consequently the market. And I reserve the right to do. And 60,000 is just a figure. And it's not an opinion, there's empirical evidence. The day I came to the market, the Sensex was 115, 1985. Today it is 60,000. I think tens of thousands will be added, zeros will be added. It's going to take time.
But you've seen so many bull runs in the past, Rakesh, and the biggest one that I remember is that 2003 2008 one, which just kept on going and the index multiplied several times, 6 or 7 times. Do you think we could be in the foothills of that kind of a bull run, or do you see this one differently from the last big one that we saw?
No, what I feel is that we will see that kind of bull run is going to take time. It may not happen in the same time period. Instead of 5, it may take 10 years. And we also had this kind of bull run in 1889 when the Sensex went from 400 to 4,000. Of course, the last 1,000 point was Mr. Mehta's contribution, right? And that didn't last from 4,000 to 3,000. So I think I think the way, India is progressively changing, right? And that change is more accentuated with time. And for 10 years, we've really not gone. We made a lot of data highs, maybe crossed 12,000 between 2012, 13 and 2020. But it always fell back. There was no breadth that time. Now there's tremendous breadth in the market. And I think India has changed in terms of the corporate sector, the GST, the farm laws. For me, the farm law means that potato is not saleable in Balwan district in West Bengal, it's 3 rupees a kilo. In Bombay, it's not available at 40 rupees a kilo. I think nobody has read the Electricity Act. I think that act passes, it's going to be bigger than 91 reform. So the cumulative reforms that we're having, the sheer thinking of the government, and I think Modi ji is hell bent on having this economic reform because he's hell bent on leaving economic legacy. And he knows that if India doesn't change, the legacy cannot be changed. So I think PSU disinvestment. And what I find more appealing to me as an Indian is that this change is coming with with social aims being fulfilled. People don't know what Nal Se Jal means. Every household in India will have clean water. 40% of these in India are waterborne. Ladies walk 6 kilometers to get a bucket of water. Now the aim is that every Indian should get water in his house. My help is able to get a passport because he's a Jan Dhan. He can do video talk with his children. He can remit money to his town in 1 minute flat. Right? I think we are one of the most digitized societies in the world. On the basis of Aadhaar card, my help could get a passport. So the kind of change in both social change, Rajiv Gandhi said that 15 paise of social welfare goes to be poor. I think now 85% goes. So I think people are getting myopic about or not recognizing the change that's happening in this world. And we are going to have, a country is going to have $1 billion of savings, $1 trillion of savings. We're already 650, $700 billion. We have created the infrastructure to channelize a greater part of the saving into financial assets. We've created the infrastructure to channelize the saving into the stock market. I think we are having corporate governance by the razor of the sword. You know what happened to managements where the institutional investors did not agree with them. So therefore, the change that is taking place in India is unbridled, unrecognized, and the government, I think, is hell bent on doing it. So I feel, and I think corporate profits are at the lowest level in India to GDP as they ever were. We were 8% in 2008, we came down to 3%. In America, corporate profits are 10% of GDP. In India, they're 4%. We are going to reach 8%. We were there in 2007. GDP is going to grow, percentage the profits to GDP is going to grow. The amount of savings which are coming to the markets are going to get just, people say 4 crore new demat accounts have opened. And there are 90 crore adult Indians. I look at the balance 85 crores, when are they coming? They are going to come one day. So I'm very bullish. And luckily I have been bullish from May of 2020. And I feel like writing an article that believe in India, fellow Indians, we will do it. I don't know why Indians are so pessimistic. They forget that we have 40% of world GDP in the 17th century. So I think India has got change comes slowly because of the democracy, but it comes surely. Nothing is top down, everything is bottom down. Once the change comes, it is forever. So I am very, very optimistic and bullish. And this bullishness, I am very patriotic, but I don't, I don't see my patriotism or mix it with economic realism. I think economically, India is on the verge of a greatest change. And what's happened, we're going to have, soon we're going to have, I think in the next 12 or 15 months, $1 trillion of foreign exchange reserves. Nobody can then attack the rupee. Right? Our software exports are going to grow at 15%. I think the value added of software exports in India is greater than the value added of all the merchandise exports put together. So I don't know why people don't recognize this. 45% of every medicine eaten in America is made in India, my friend. You talk of strategic dependence. 45% of every medicine eaten in America is made in India. So I don't see why India will not grow, prosper. Why every Indian will not have a meal, a car, a house, clean water. We are going to get there. And I see this kind of growth continuing for decades. Because if change takes place and we have a home market, we have some of the greatest talent and skills in the world. We never stole the technology for the nuclear bomb, we never sold it to them. We sent a vehicle to Mars. We did it 1/10 the cost of NASA. So I remain very optimistic and I deserve the right to be there.
Right.
And as long as there is skepticism,
but
they say bull markets are born on pessimism, they grow on skepticism.
Yeah.
I think we've not even reached we've just passed the pessimism phase. The skepticism has to be, I don't know much about behavioral economics, but I know there are so many skeptics on the market.
How are you positioning yourself, Rakesh, to play this bull run though? I mean, that's my question, because this time it seems like you're doing it differently. I mean, earlier you had a great portfolio of stocks. But this time you're actually investing in businesses of your own. I mean, Star Insurance is coming up. You're starting a new airline. How do you see this phase of your life or your investing career, where you're almost like an entrepreneur or a promoter, not like just investing in other people's businesses?
Well, I've been doing this. You don't know what you're doing this. I'm doing this from 2007. I have at least, 10 unlisted, 15 unlisted investments, out of which 5 are gorillas.
Tell me a little bit about this airline, Rakesh, because it's very intrigued about it. When is it coming up? I mean, what is going to be your model? Because even the aviation market is going to be quite different. Maybe Air India gets sold to another private player. Jet Airways might be revived. How do you position your airline, Akasa?
I can say only 2 things. First, I have an agreement with my co-promoters that I will not publicly speak about the airline. Second thing, I know there is a lot of skepticism. But I said when I came to the market, I had 5,000 rupees. Everybody said I have to one day leave the market and take up a job. But by God's grace and my elders' blessings, I proved everybody wrong. Everybody is very skeptical about the airline, but I am hopeful I will do well. Only time will tell. And I'm prepared for failure. I'm not afraid to make a mistake. I only want to make one which I can afford, so I may live to make another one. But I'm pretty confident. I can't speak beyond this.
Tell me about your latest investment now, Rakesh, because that's the one everybody is talking about on the street. And you bought a
So
ton of Z
I don't
shares, and
discuss.
then the Z Sony merger got announced. Do you think it's a defining stage in the life of Z? Could it transform itself as a company, as a business?
See, then I don't talk about individual companies. I don't talk about investments.
But tell me a little bit about one area which I want to discuss with you, which is this advent of electric vehicles and the kind of disruption it might cause. You have shareholdings in large auto companies like Tata Motors. How do you think this will change the whole picture or landscape for auto stocks? Do you think new disruptors like Ola will come or could come and seize a lion's share of the pie, or do you see the established players actually benefiting or capitalizing on this opportunity?
I know one thing, that one of my largest investments in life is Tata Motors. And Tata Motors is going to lead the electrical markets, not only in India but in the developing world. That is my judgment. I don't think beyond that. That Tata Motors is already leading and will lead the electric vehicle market in India. And if God wishes, not only in India but in the developing world. Because they will make affordable electric cars. And the cars that they've made, you test drive the Nexon and the Tiago, electrical, is getting affordable. And I'm an interested party. Please take everything I say with a pinch of salt.
Fair enough. But since we were talking about the bull market, I want to ask you about the leaders of the last bull market, which are financials. I mean, that's the real area where people made a lot of money. When I look at your portfolio, you somehow seem not to have really gained from investing a lot in financial stocks. I mean, I see names like Indiabulls Housing, Federal Bank, Edelweiss. These are not Rakesh Jhunjhunwala stocks. I mean, they've not created a lot of wealth for you. Do you think Star Insurance will fill that void in your portfolio?
No,
Or
I have made a
do
lot
you
of
want to
investment.
play financials differently this time around?
I have made a lot of investment in public sector banks. Canara Bank, which is publicly known, in other public sector banks. And so then it's a bull market. Everybody is going to participate by.
The other thing which will also characterize this bull market as we go forward clearly is this spate of digital listings which are happening. Zomato at 1 lakh crores, and there are many lined up over the next few months. How are you going to approach this digital space as an investor?
I have one investment, I have two investments in digital space. One is in Nazara Technologies, and I believe in cash flows. In Nazara Technologies, until the public issue, I raised $5 million. And when I invested, I had 200 crores in the bank. So they were a cash positive company the day I invested. And I have one BPO investment which does very well, it's unlisted, whose EBITDA is about 300 crores this year. And I'm a majority owner and promoter. So I have an investment in this space. I don't understand it much. Cryptos, digital, Zomato. I don't have to join every party and on the run sheet. I excuse myself on this. And I feel no left out factor. Because I invest with conviction, I don't have a conviction, I believe in cash flows. I think we are discounting too much of the future. And I can give you a very clear example. That if you take 25 companies in India which have given the highest consistent return in the last 20 years, they are today valued in a bear market at 30 times cash flow, in a bull market at 40 to 50 times cash flow. So Zomato to justify its valuation and compared with those companies, it has to generate 4,000 crores of post-tax cash flow, which is 6,000 crores peak tax. To have a valuation of 1,25,000 crores. His turnover last year was 2,000 crores. His first quarter loss was 53% of the incremental turnover. So, sir, good luck. I don't want to join that party, and I could be wrong.
But do any of these new businesses impress you? Any of these new entrepreneurs where you are convinced by the business model and you think it could be
And
sustainable? Any of the
no,
big
I don't.
digital
I
names
don't
that we keep hearing
examine.
about?
I don't examine any of those companies because I don't want to invest. Because what I buy is important, and what price I buy is most important. So I don't do any research on them. But the entrepreneurs, the energy that they bring, right, is unbelievable. Salute to all. Because the energy, the pace at which they do things, the dedication, unbelievable. I wish I could get the energy in them. So as entrepreneurs, I have the highest personal respect for them. But that doesn't mean I buy their companies at this point.
What about Bitcoin? Have you been tempted at all over the last year or two to dabble in it?
Don't waste my time on them. I don't even look at it. Which sovereign is going to allow currency? This is like the lottery here. Today I go to a restaurant and Rekha used to have a budget of 30 rupees to have dinner. Then we go there and we're told it's worth 22 and a half. Can that be a currency? And which sovereign in the world is going to allow the power to issue a currency to anybody else? So it can never be a means of exchange or a store of value, which a currency is. It's the Rescos and the Bitcoin are no different.
Okay, we've spoken about investments and this bull market, but I want to end on a slightly more personal note. I mean, how have the last couple of years been for you, Rakesh? Because I know that you've gone through a fairly difficult time from a health perspective, yet from a stock market perspective, your fortunes have grown manyfold over the last year and a half. On balance, how would you say the last couple of years have been during this difficult period?
They have been great for me mentally and very, very good financially. And I'm a fighter. You know, there was a girl, paralympic girl, who without legs climbed Mount Everest. So when I think of her, I think there's nothing I can't change. It has made me better as a person. It has made me realize that life is a stage. As Shakespeare said, I have to play my role. I've examined closely what my role should be. And I'm trying to tailor my life towards it. I'm trying. And God willing, until today, what I've asked God and what is legitimate, He has always been. So I'm hopeful things will change for the better. And I can tell you so much. I've lost 18 kilos of weight. I am non-diabetic now. And the real health is far better than the apparent. Because my legs, because of 18 weeks of bed rest, I've developed extreme weakness in the legs. And that was followed by COVID and dehydration. In June, I started walking half a kilometer. But then I got COVID and then I got dehydration. That has again made my legs heavy. Otherwise, I have no health problems. Mentally, I'm more active than I ever was. And I'm making an effort. I do exercise every day. I do yoga. I'm trying to improve my personal habits. I have limited my binge in alcohol to 2.5 drinks a day. And I'm following it. I'm eating very little. I don't smoke more than 2, 3 cigarettes a day. So I'm trying. I don't know whether God will allow me to be successful or not. But as the Gita says, I'm making an effort. The result is in it. But it has changed me as a person. That has made me realize that I have to improve as a human. I have to give more to society, spend more time with my children, and do the things I enjoy. Or even thinking of retiring from trading. So just like you have more time to spend on myself and visit the places of the world I want to see, learn dancing, learn swimming, do things which I'll enjoy. Other than the markets, of course.
Well, you seem to put the worst behind you now, and you're well on the way to recovery, and it's great to hear that. So, my final question to you is, and I know that you're building a swank house in South Mumbai, a huge house which would be ready at the turn of the year. And I want to ask you, I mean, if you had the choice of calling anyone on the first day in your new house for dinner, three people, anyone in the world, who would those three people be?
Winston Churchill, George Soros, and Atal Biharji Vajpayee.
That's a terrific answer. And on that note, I shall say thank you to you, Rakesh. All the very best from everyone at the India Today team. It's
Thank
always
you.
great talking to you, and very good to hear that you've put your troubles behind you. All the best.
Let's hope so and pray to the Almighty that you are the giver of wealth Also give me the power to give. Mother Teresa said, give until it hurts. So I want to give until it hurts. And I want to control my bloody temper and be more considerate of other people's feelings. Let's hope and play with my grandchildren. If God gives me all three, I don't ask God for wealth. I don't ask God for success. He's only the giver. But I want the last three. And I want to make effort towards it. And if I don't get the reward, the Gita says, we have to make effort. The reward is anything. I won't be disappointed. I will accept it.
Thank you very much for your time, and
Thank
thank
you.
you all
Thank you,
very
Ben.
much for watching
Great talking
the
to you
Business
after a
Today
long
show.
time. Have a great time in London. Hope to join you in the summer.
Yep. Thank you, Rakesh. Thank you very much for your wishes. See you soon.